Everybody, Mike Giardina here with CrossFit Health at a brand new affiliate, CrossFit Rebuild in Encinitas, California. We're here with Mr. Griffen Brads, who is the owner of this affiliate, who has an amazing story that we're going to really dig into. But before we do that, Griffen, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your past experience, the work you were doing prior to owning an affiliate, and then what brought you to CrossFit first, and then we'll talk about the affiliate.
Okay, and what brought me to CrossFit is I'm a nurse. My background, I guess once a nurse, always a nurse. But when I was working on the floor specifically, I was in critical care. So I worked in the ICU, and then we called it the step-down unit, which is one step below the ICU. What I was seeing, it was a second career for me. It was in my mid-30s, and I was seeing people about 10 years older than me, about my age right now, coming in, being admitted to the hospital one step from the ICU. Yeah. And that was, excuse me, very eye-opening. What really caught my attention is, being their floor nurse, I had their medical history, I had all of their risk factors, and I was looking at this going, well, okay, I don't smoke, so that's good, but everything else I was on track for. Yeah. I had all the same risk factors, and I really felt I was looking at my future. And started this journey like, I can't let this happen. And you would think, coming out of a nursing background, that you would know exactly what to do. But you don't. It's hard, right? And you know, when people say, well, you just need to exercise and eat healthy. Well, that's a really broad term. What does that mean? Yeah. So I went on really about a 5-year journey just trying to figure this out. And I tried a lot of different things, whether it be like kind of your P90Xs or other DVD workouts. Yep. I tried running clubs, martial arts, you name it. I couldn't find anything that really made sense to what I was seeing in the hospital and anything that I could stick with. Yeah. On the nutrition front, I would try, I knew nothing, like very little about like how to properly eat in a way that is manageable, like you can actually do. So I tried these crazy diets or meal plans, and they're impossible to stick with. Fast forward about 5 years, I had made my way into the IT side of nursing, so I ended up as a consultant, and I was hired as a traveling consultant along with another person who was just a little bit older than me, who was in the CrossFit. And I just asked him, I said, what is it? What do you do? And he told me about it. And I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. He's like, you should try it. So I went to my first class, and within 30 minutes of a 60-minute class, I was like, oh, wow, this is the secret sauce. This is what I wish I could tell my patients about what we're doing in here, because we are training for those everyday movements in life. This is how I can stay out of the hospital. That's really what locked me in the CrossFit, and that's what kept me going. Even if things got hard, I could always trace back to what we were doing in a gym and how it applied to real life and how it was going to keep me out of the hospital. So that's how I started CrossFit.
That's pretty amazing. So you tried all these other things, and a lot of them were things that maybe you kind of did on your own. So outside of the movements and the workouts themselves, what else do you think really helps people stay with CrossFit?
Well, the community. So, I mean, that's a huge part. And, I still talk to people who come in and inquiring about the gym. They want to know about the community, because everyone's motivated at first, but that motivation does tend to fade. So how do you keep going when you just don't feel it that day? And a lot of times it's that accountability in a friendly fashion, right? Whether it's that smiling coach who is going to, be waiting for you, or whether it's friends that you make in the gym. Yeah, absolutely. That's huge. The other thing is just having a different workout and not having to think about it, like not having to figure that out, because, I mean, we hire people, right, who are professionals to figure out how to do this for us. Sure. It's really hard to do on your own. So just knowing that I'm coming in every day and I don't even have to think about the workout, I just have to show up and give my best effort, and then be coachable to make sure I'm staying safe and healthy. So those two things is what kept me with it. Yeah,
coaches that they know you, they know the workout, they know your level, they know any limitations that you might have, and they can scale accordingly. You don't have to think about it; it's there, it's waiting for you.
Absolutely.
That's pretty cool. You did talk about going on diets that were really hard to stick with. How do you eat now? Like, what made sense to you, and what have you been able to follow that actually has some longevity to it?
So we don't believe in a meal plan. I should preface that. We believe about 5% of the population probably does well with a meal plan. When I say a meal plan, I'm talking a very specific, eat this, here's your daily meals to eat, or count your macros, or count your calories.
Sure.
Doesn't work for most people. We believe in building healthy habits. So in our nutrition program, we're going to work with you to build habits. We're not going to tell you, hey, you can't eat this, because
right.
The example I use is let's say you drink a soda every day at 3 p.m. We're not going to say you can't drink that ever again, because psychologically what happens,
right,
that's all I want is soda. That's all I can think about is soda. But what we might do is say, hey, before you drink that soda, can you drink 8 ounces of water right before that?
Yeah.
And naturally over time, your body's going to get used to some of those healthy habits, and it's going to push that other stuff aside. But if we believe if we can build the habits, right, and we can come right alongside you and help people like one stair step at a time,
yeah.
we are building lifelong transformation.
Sure.
These are habits that you can learn, and they'll stick with you for the rest of your life.
Yeah, giving them some control over it.
Absolutely.
No, that makes sense. Healthy habits, learning more effective ways to change behavior than doing something that's super strict and limiting and throwing that in their face.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That's awesome. And that's what you're currently doing here. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it from a nursing perspective, if someone has a major surgery, we have to get them up moving. I can't just say, you have to get up. You have to do this. I have to somehow be able to coach them and break through that barrier to show them, okay, this is why it's going to benefit you long term. We take that same nursing approach in here.
I love how you've been, and we'll talk about that in a second, but I love how you've been able to take your background in your profession as a nurse and then bring that mindset into the affiliate. That's really cool. But let's start talking about the affiliate.
Okay.
So it's called CrossFit Rebuild for a reason, right? And you're targeting a certain audience.
Yeah.
Before we dig into that, what led you to opening up this affiliate?
So when you go to get your level 1, right, to become a coach and affiliate owner, and you read through the training material, CrossFit talks about preparing you for the known and unknown in life.
Yep.
So I knew what I was preparing for, the known, right? I want to stay out of the hospital.
Sure.
But on November 19th, 2021, I live in a walking community here, and my wife and I were walking home. We lived about a mile away from the downtown area, and we're crossing a side street, and someone came from a busier street down a hill. They're looking at their cell phone. They just weren't looking at the road, and they took the corner at about 30 miles an hour, and they cut the corner short, and they ran us both over. That was an unknown.
Yeah.
And what happened was, so my wife ended up unfortunately being knocked out, so she doesn't remember the accident. I do. I wasn't knocked out. And as I laid in the hospital waiting for surgery the next day, I could trace back to 3 distinct points in that accident where what I was training for in a gym really saved my life, or at least saved me from being paralyzed or a life-altering injury.
Sure.
Now, yeah, I have 10 screws and plates in my knee, but that's not life-altering, right? Like I'm able to recover from that. So that was the first seed that was kind of planted. I might need to do something here.
Yeah.
Then as I started recovering, I was just getting a lot of feedback from clinicians that no one recovers this fast. So I was supposed to be in the hospital a lot longer than I was. You have to understand, we have teenagers at home, so all they knew was mom and dad didn't come home on Friday. So I wanted to get home, and I'm being told, no, there's no way physical therapy is going to clear you. You're not going to be strong enough to go home. So when they came in, I just basically said, what do you need to see? Right? And so all of that strength, so I had a walker, all that strength through pushing up for ring dips, pull-ups, helped me get on that walker, strong legs from deadlifts, squats, and I could only use this leg, and I was able to, they were amazed that I could go as far as I could. Long story short, they went and told the doctor, he can go. Outside of one other thing, they wanted to put me in a rehab facility because they didn't think I could do basic activities of daily living like getting up and down from a couch or a toilet. But that's where things like pistols come in, right? And what I think is really important is I've never in my life been able to do a pistol RX or as prescribed. I would always go to a box 20, 24 inches. But you know what? That's all I had to do to get up and down from the couch and up and down from the toilet. And that allowed me not only to go home, it allowed me to stay out of rehab as well. So yeah,
I think that's amazing because it essentially kind of solidifies scaling, right? Where to improve your functional capacity, you don't have to only do the movement as prescribed. Like,
exactly.
However you scale it,
Yeah.
improves functionality.
Yep.
Right? Like, and that's a great example of that. Now, I know during the accident you had told me that there were 3 distinct points where you can pinpoint certain movements that played a major part in your ability to walk away with injuries that weren't as severe as they probably could have been, right? So
exactly.
Can we talk through those a little bit?
Yeah, so the way it goes, we're crossing the street, and we had crossed center line, so traffic should have been coming this way. So I'm looking this way, looking back, talking to my wife. There's no traffic, and I just see her eyes get big and yell, car. So by the time I turn around, the car is as close as you and I right now. And the first thing I did was jump. Now, in the gym, I had an amazing coach who was working with us on explosive box jumps. And naturally, I mean, I used to be an athlete, right? I'm not anymore. I'm 48 years old. And I'm just kind of laughing as I'm doing this, like, well, I'm going to do it because I just want to see, I want to challenge myself. But like, I'm never going to dunk a basketball.
Right.
Well, in that moment, I didn't have to dunk a basketball. I just had to get high enough so when the car hit me, it knocked me forward. Because if it would have knocked me backwards, he was going fast enough, he would have just ran right over. So it was knocked forward, and now I'm hovering over the car. And I will be honest, there is a point in a traumatic injury like that, time kind of stops.
Like the Matrix,
so I'm like, man, I have all these like thoughts going through my head. But all I could think of was I need to get off this car. So I did a burpee push, and I just pushed myself off to the side. Otherwise, I was going to go through the windshield, right? Now, the thing about the burpee, we all have things we don't like in the gym. That's number one for me. I have never enjoyed them. I used to tell myself, and this is true, this is how I'll get up as I get older if I fall. But I will view burpees completely differently from here on out
100%.
because that one saved my life. The other thing is a lot of what we do in here, and I try to tell people that we don't do a lot of sit-ups, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of the movements, especially with the barbell, it's always working our core, whether we're squatting, overhead. And I had such good, strong core strength that when I landed, I was able to land in that hollow body position and not snap my head back.
So you landed on your back.
Yes, I landed on my back. And I landed solid. I know I landed solid because I had a thin coat on. There was not one tear. I had no injuries on my shoulders, no like clavicle injuries, no tear on my coat. I just landed solid, did not hit my head, did not snap my head back. So those are the 3 things. It was that box jump, it was that burpee push, and it was just being strong enough to land in that hollow body position and then land solid.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So the whole thing just blows my mind. So you're recovering from this, and you start thinking to yourself, I'm going to quit what I'm currently doing, and I'm going to open up a CrossFit gym.
Yeah. Crazy,
and
right?
So so tell us a little bit about that thought process, and then I think it's obvious. We can dig into it. It's obvious why it's called CrossFit Rebuild.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the thought process, opening the doors, and then let's finish up with who are you trying to reach? Like with this gym, who are you really trying to reach?
So to answer the first question, what was that thought process? I always knew there was, in my mind, kind of a missing gap in affiliates. I was fortunate enough to travel. I dropped in a lot of places all around the country.
Yeah.
But from my nursing background, I knew how this helped people get healthy, how this people stay healthy, how it helped them get out of the hospital. But I'd never heard a lot of conversation around that, right?
Yeah.
And I always thought, well, somebody needs to do that. Somebody needs to create an affiliate where we do that.
Yeah.
Not me, but somebody should. I think after that accident, and as I'm recovering and hearing the clinicians just be amazed at the recovery speed or the speed of recovery, it started dawning on me, Griffen, that might be you.
Yeah.
This might be, up to you to do that. So I do think we are doing something different because I am definitely leveraging kind of my nursing background, like you said. We attack this from a mind, body, and spirit, where we look at the whole person and how can we, because fitness is a big part, but it's only a part. So we look at other areas of the person. But I think it just dawned on me that if this has to be me, and I was given this story for a reason. Yeah. So that's how I open up. Rebuild, obviously, I'm still rebuilding. I mean, you want to talk about ecstatic. I did 29 double unders yesterday in a row, unbroken. When I first started back after my injury, I couldn't even do singles. So, yeah. So
it hasn't even been a year.
No, it's been about 9 months. And to me, that's a huge success, right? So success is different, right? I mean, you could see people at the games, like that's huge success,
Yeah.
but that's huge success for them. Right now, with me rebuilding, or for someone who's coming in who hasn't done this before or is just trying to get healthy, these are big monumental moments. And I'm just lucky that I have a team of people in my social circle that celebrate that with me.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to make sure that we create an environment that we're able to celebrate those emotional moments with the gym members as well.
I love it.
So, yeah.
So your target audience essentially are the people that really need CrossFit the most.
Yeah.
And maybe they're people that they know about it, they're a little afraid to step into the gym,
Yeah.
right? Or maybe they're people that don't even know about it yet, but they definitely need some improvements in their health.
Yeah, so I'm an aging athlete. I'll be 49 in about 5 weeks. So we really target the aging athlete, right? 40s, 50s, 60s, and above. And we target people that are rebuilding. I mean, and rebuilding can be, hey, I haven't worked out for a long time, and I am scared to death to come in and do this. Or a mindset thing we deal with in here is, I used to be an athlete, and it's really frustrating that I can't do what I used to be able to do. Well, I can relate to that. I mean, that just happened to me, right? So we build a gym for those who want to make the second half of life the best half.
Yeah.
And that's who we're targeting. We do like definitely beginners. You know, everyone's heard of couch to 5K. I call it couch to CrossFit.
Love it.
So, yeah.
I love that. So, you know, with CrossFit Health, we one of the main focuses that we're trying to do is bridge the gap between fitness and healthcare.
Yeah.
And I think that's essentially what you're doing, because you've had a chance to wear multiple hats here. You're coming from the healthcare professional community as a critical care nurse, and then taking that mindset into the affiliate. Are you also doing things to reach back out and engage other healthcare professionals?
That's on my list. So as a new business owner, it's kind of everything's like busy.
So much,
but yeah, one of the things that I have targeted is I want to start, and I've done a couple meetings, right? Is start getting out there in the medical community, because doctors want to help, right?
Yeah.
And I think CrossFit, I just read the book that CrossFit Health recommended for last month, called Hard to Kill. And she talks about no doctor gets into healthcare because they don't want to help, right?
Yeah.
But the way a lot of insurance companies work and the way the hospital systems work is becomes kind of churn and burn. Like, I have to see, they're required to see as many patients as possible. They don't get a lot of time with them.
Yeah.
So they may know how to help someone with their fitness and nutrition, but they're not going to have the time. Yeah. So what I want to be is, I want to be a place where that's almost like a prescription. You know, if they say, hey, you need to lose weight, or you need to, you know, start exercising for whatever, you know, to improve whatever biomarkers, or where are they going to go? Yeah. And to me, this is an extension of my nursing career. Sure. I would love to have those people come in, because I can completely, it would be just like when I was in the hospital working with the providers.
I think that's the ideal strategy, right?
Yeah.
I think working as a team, you know, I think where doctors can prescribe medication whenever medication is needed to improve some level of illness. Yeah. But the underlying, you know, the thing that I always think about is it's not the medication that made people sick, or the lack of medication that made people sick, right? So it's not giving the medication that's actually going to make them healthier. Yeah. It's going to improve the symptoms. What makes them healthier is really improving those things that got them there in the first place, and a lot of that can be done here, right? Exactly. Things like nutrition and exercise. I know you have a more holistic approach. What are some other things that you really focus on with your members here? I know you said nutrition and exercise, but what else?
The other thing is we'll focus on mindset training or daily life habits, right? So are you still moving outside of the gym? Because the movement outside of the gym really compounds the benefits we get in here. So just little things like, I can even tell you what I do in my life. I take the furthest parking spot, right? Or I take the stairs whenever I can. So we talk about that. But some people really just have life habits with stress, or just, you know, or just being super busy, where are you setting yourself up in your life habits to maximize your health and wellness journey? Like, are you getting enough sleep? Yeah. Right? Are you setting up your environment right for food? Like, just a lot of things. So we do actually have a program where we'll dive into just healthy habits that will impact your journey.
Love it. Love it. Well, listen, hopefully we can continue to work together. If there's anything you ever need from us at CrossFit Health, we'd love to help out in any way that we can. Yeah. Man, you're doing some amazing things, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for being here with us.
Awesome.
This is great.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
All right, Griffen. Thanks a lot.